Hey y'all, it's Robert, and today at the Sweet Impact, we're making a Bluey cake. Now, this is another character cake. I have a lot of fun making these, but this character is going to be pretty difficult to do because it's a 2D character, and I can tell by the character design that their snout sticks out, but I don't have a lot of good reference points for this because it's just not a 3D character. So I'll just have a lot of different pictures of Bluey that I'm going to look at to try to make sure that I do this right. But before I can even start the cake, I have to make sure that I have a really good base, so I'm going to start by making that. So to make the base, I have a wooden cake board that I drilled holes through, and then I'm going to attach the threaded rods to it. And I'm also going to add another wooden cake board that I covered with aluminum tape because I do want to make sure that all of this is going to be food safe. For the cake, I'm using 6-inch vanilla cake layers, and I'm going to level and torque all of those cakes and also add some simple syrup just to make sure that they don't dry out as I work on the cake. Now I can start stacking the cake, and I'm doing this with vanilla buttercream, and there are a lot of layers that I have to stack, so I am going to add some support. So I have some dowels that I cut all the same length, and I inserted those into the cake before I continue to stack the cake. I only have to do a little carving to this cake. I just want to round off the sharp edges on the top of the cake, and then I'm going to add a very thin layer of buttercream for a crumb coat. Now it's time to add a final coat, and for all of my character cakes, I always do the final coat using chocolate ganache. So this is a 3-to-1 ratio of chocolate to cream, and I'm just going to mix that all together till it's really smooth, and I'm just going to let it set for just a little before I add it to the cake. I'm using a piping bag to add the ganache to the cake, and then using a smooth cake comb to smooth all of that out, and then also using an acetate sheet to make sure that the top of the cake will have that rounded edge. So the base of the cake is completely done, and I can now start adding the modeling chocolate. So I'm going to knead that to make sure that it's really smooth and easy to apply to the cake, but I do have to steam the cake first because I do want to make sure that this modeling chocolate actually sticks. Because of the size of this cake, I am going to add the modeling chocolate in pieces. So I'm going to panel it around the sides of the cake and then also add another layer of modeling chocolate on the top. I'm also using modeling tools to define other features on Bluey, like her eyes, her ears, and also her stomach. So I'm molding the Rice Krispie treats into shape, and then I'm going to stick those onto the cake with the help of a skewer. Now that the Rice Krispies are on the cake, I'm covering that with modeling chocolate. I'm using modeling chocolate to make the rest of the features on this cake, so that's the legs, the arms, and also the ears. most difficult things I had to model on this cake is Bluey's hands. I always have a hard time making the hands and fingers. You have to make them identical on both sides. It's always pretty tough to do. I did manage to work it out. It just did take a little more time than I would have liked. So the cake is now all modeled and I can now start adding some color to this cake. So I'm going to be using edible paint to do this. So I'm going to be using different shades of blue, and it honestly took a really long time for me to get the right shades. It took a lot of different mixing and I have to look at a lot of different color theories to get the right colors that I needed, but I did manage to work it out and I can now start painting the cake. Now that the cake is all painted, I can add those last few features. So I'm using black modeling chocolate to make the nose and the eyes, and also some light blue modeling chocolate to make the eyebrows. And here it is. This is the Bluey cake complete. I think this cake came out really great, but this was definitely one of the more difficult character cakes. And although it looks pretty simple, getting that snout to be just right was the most difficult part, but I did manage to work it out, and I'm very proud of how it came out. So if you like the cake, make sure that you like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't, and comment below any other cakes that you want to see me make. And until then, I'll see y'all in the next video.